All right, so today grades are due. If you have any questions about your grade or concerns about your grade, please email me. The Unit 2 test and the Unit 2 test quiz number 2, that will not be a part of this grading period. I just picked those up from the school yesterday, so I will get those in the gradebook over the weekend after I've submitted the grades to the school. The other big announcement I wanted to tell you is that on Tuesday, we're going to be taking our first quiz for the unit. It's going to be a very small quiz, 4 questions at most. It's going to be in Delta Math. It is a group quiz, so you can use you can use the people around you, talk it over with the people around you. Make sure you take the notes. Remember, watch the ed puzzles and complete these assignments that I'm giving you right now. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing, this is our new section. We're going to talk about special right triangles. We're going to go through, there's 2 theorems in this section. We're going to take the first one, and that's going to be the first one is going to be our 45, 45, 90 triangle theorem. And what that basically says, in a triangle, in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times as long as each leg. All right, let's start with what is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So 45, 45, 90 triangle is basically a triangle with angles measuring 45. Let me go and highlight this. We have 2 angles that are measuring at 45. You can see those marked there. I highlighted that in yellow. And then we also have a 90-degree angle. So this only works in right triangles where my 2 smaller angles, the other 2 angles in the triangle are going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so when we have that, the 2 legs are going to be, the hypotenuse is just going to be whatever my legs are times the square root of 2. And we'll get into that with our first example. So make sure you write this down. All right. First example. All right, so we want to find the side lengths in 45, 45, 90 triangles. All right, we're taking this. This is a very important part of the unit. It's the beginning of trig. So I'm going to take this really slow, and we're only going to focus on this one. We want to find the value of x. Write your answer in simplest form, right? So if x is this is my hypotenuse. I'm going to write this down. My hypotenuse is x. Hypotenuse. And in my triangle, we see that I have a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, right? Because this angle here is a 90-degree angle. That tells us it's 90 degrees. We have 45 here. And if I add the angles in a triangle up, we go 90 plus 45 plus, my last angle has to be 45 degrees in order for us to get 180, because 90 plus 45 would be 135. And if I subtract that, we'd get, I'm going to just put in a place marker x. If I subtract 135 from both sides, we're going to be left with x equals 45 degrees. Right? So it is a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. All right, what this is basically saying, let's go back to my theorem. I'll scroll up really quick. If we know the sides, we just have to multiply. If you know my leg, we can just multiply that by the square root of 2. All right, so if my leg is 8, so my hypotenuse is going to be my leg times the square root of 2. So my hypotenuse, all right, so my leg is 8. So it's going to be 8 times the square root of 2. And I want you to leave this in simplified radical form. What that basically says, like if we have a square root, you just can leave your answer like this. I don't want you to round it off. Right? You don't have to plug it in the calculator. Just leave it as the 8 times the square root of 2. And that's your answer. All right, for the next problem, all right, we know, and let's go and write this out, right? We said our hypotenuse equals our leg times the square root of 2. We don't know what our leg is, right? Our leg is going to be x. But we do know that our hypotenuse is 5 times the square root of 2. So I want to try and get the x by itself. So what we need to do to get that x by itself, this is x times the square root of 2. So we're going to divide by the square root of 2. Whenever you do one side of the equal side, we have to do the other. So here on the right-hand side, let me go and erase my box here to make it a little easier to see. Whoops, erased a little too much. We have x times the square root of 2. Square root of 2 divided by square root of 2, that's like saying this can reduce down to 1, right? Square root of 2 divided by square root of 2 is 1. And again, on the left-hand side, square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2 is going to be 1. So we're left with 5 on the left-hand side and just x on the right-hand side. So my x equals 5, and that's my answer, right? So here are two answers. All right. I want you to try these two problems on your own now. Start with letter A and then go to letter B. Give them a shot. Okay, so again, remember our formula. We're just using hypotenuse equals leg times the square root of 2. All right, so my hypotenuse is the side opposite my 90-degree angle, and my legs are the two sides that are congruent. So we have our two legs here. All right, so my hypotenuse is x. My leg is 22. And we have our square root of 2, right? Remember, we're trying to write it in simplest form. So my answer is actually, we're done here. We're done at this point. We just take our, whatever our leg is and times that by the square root of 2. For B, again, remember we have our hypotenuse equals leg times the square root of 2. So our hypotenuse is here. Here's my hypotenuse. That's the side opposite my 90-degree angle. And our legs are going to be here. Leg and leg. All right, so if you just go and plug those in, we have x equals, oh, whoops, not x. My bad. I got those backwards. My hypotenuse is 10 square root of 2. My leg is x, so x times the square root of 2. I'm trying to get x by itself. Right, so this is saying x times the square root of 2. So we have to divide by the square root of 2 on both sides. The square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2 equals 1. Same thing on the left-hand side. So we're left with, on the right-hand side, 10 equals x. Yep. All right. So that is it for today. There is practice in Delta Math. So if I go in and see if I can pull it up really quick in Delta Math. Go to sample student pages. So I added a couple problems. Make sure you're getting practice with this because these are the types of questions you're going to see on the test, right? So we have, I'm going to simplify, get some practice simplifying radicals. They're guided. I'm going to add a couple more to those. And then we have our special right triangles. And these are going to be specifically our 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, right? We'll talk about the other special right triangle tomorrow. Okay. If you have any questions, again, please email me. You have my email through Google Classroom. Just type in Siegel in your Gmail and it'll pop up. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye.